Hello, I'm Carole Thorpe-Gunner. Welcome to Folk and the Kindful Cafe project. Thank you to the Community National Lottery Fund. Now, when we spoke last month, we spoke about Eldric, Wild Edric, and his Princess Fairy wife, Godda. And Godda left him because he didn't keep his word. Now, I'm going to make something for you today which we think that Eldric had every morning after his wild hunt. Godda would serve him his breakfast. And it's a good rural country breakfast containing all the goodness of eggs and cheese, curd and butter and all the things that we would have had in Shropshire and around the country. So this is what we're going to make. And these are the curd tarts. They're very simple. You can buy your pastry case, you can have it rolled out, or you can make them if you're feeling up to it. So we have the curd tarts here. Now the recipe, it will be on our post, and it's actually cottage cheese tart. I've halved the recipe because half of it I've used as a demonstration, so you can see. So the recipe I'm going to do now is half the amount so that we can fill these. So off we go. We need 8 ounces of short crust pastry, and that will make these cases. And then we have 1 ounce of butter, and we're going to put that 1 ounce of butter into my mixing bowl. So in it goes. We then need, I think it's about 1.5 ounces of caster sugar. In it goes. And what we need to do is just mix that round. Now we must remember that sugar wasn't available 1,000 or so years ago. So honey would have been used as a sweetener, or some natural sweetener. So we're mixing this up. The other thing that we're going to use is cottage cheese instead of curd today, but you can buy curd and use that instead. But I find this a very successful recipe with the cottage cheese. It's got no flour in it, so it's very, very light. Right, so we've made that into a nice sugary butter mix, and what we're going to do now is add your beaten egg. So in it goes, and we'll mix that round. Get that all going nice and easily. Could warm it a little, and that will mix a little bit quicker, but it's really quite easy to do. So we've mixed that round. The next thing to go in is about 1.5 tablespoons of cream. So in that goes. Oh, and it's getting really nice and creamy now. Next thing, the cottage cheese or the curd. Now Eldric would have loved this. He would have come home very hungry, expecting to see Godda serving him up his breakfast. But when she left him, because he didn't keep his word about the sisters, he didn't get his tart, did he, at all, because off she went. In we go, the cottage cheese, mixing that in nicely. Now, what have we got left? A few currants, a little bit of fruit. You can use raisins if you like, but I think currants, or as some people call them, dead flies, they're very nice in there. So put the currants in, and we're really getting there now. And I think there's only one more thing to add, and that's just to spice it up a little bit. and it's a little pinch of ground mixed spice. So we're just going to put a little bit of this in. You can actually add a bit of brandy or rum, just a little sprinkle in there, and a little bit more maybe. Brandy or rum to make it extra tasty, but we don't have any. So we're just going to mix that in, and that is basically it. So we've got all lovely country ingredients there. Lovely with a, I suppose they didn't have a cup of tea, they didn't have that then, but they'd have some mead, something like that. So now we're going to just pop it into these pastry cases. Now remember that Eldric had all his lands taken from him in Shropshire when the Norman conquest happened in 1066, and only 7/8 of the land were left for the noblemen, and Robert de Montgomery was given 7/8, and poor Eldric and everybody else had to just share it amongst themselves or become outlaws. And in fact that's what happened to Eldric. He became an outlaw, and along here on Long Mountain he sided with the Welsh, and not only did he go in search of Godda and in search of his tarp possibly, but also you know, he was trying to get his lands back, so he did join with the Welsh for a few years. But they do say that he still, this is nutmeg just for the top, he still rides around on his horse with his dogs, and he's been seen on the Welsh-English border just down the road here. And if you see him, don't look, it's bad luck. So thank you for looking at this. That will go in a medium oven now for about 40 minutes and should turn out like this. And it would be great if you could make something like this and show us, post it to us so we can have a look. Thank you for watching.